The Water Margin, Chapter 28.
What's so interesting is how the story shifts. Wusong goes from being this lone warrior, this fighter, to someone who has to navigate social politics.
And it happens immediately. The focus isn't on his fists anymore. It's on his personal code versus this deeply corrupt system.
And that test, it doesn't even wait for him to get to the prison. It comes from the outlaws themselves.
Right, almost as soon as he's on the road. It happens at this bizarre, pretty infamous inn.
The one run by Zhang King and Sun Erniang.
Yeah. So Wusong is there. He's still in his kang, the wooden collar, traveling with his two official escorts. They stop for a rest, and things get weird very, very fast.
Well, because this isn't just any inn. This is an inn that specializes in turning its guests into meat dumplings.
It's the worst possible rest stop you could imagine. And Zhang King, the innkeeper, he recognizes Wusong. He sees his potential.
And he makes him an offer, a really radical one. He says, look, let's just kill your two escorts right here.
Right, and you could become an outlaw right now. He even offers to send him to join another famous hero, Lu Zixin, at Erlong Mountain.
It's a lifeline. I mean, it's guaranteed safety. It's acceptance into the top tier of the Jiangku. His problems are basically over.
But Wusong just shuts it down completely.
Absolutely. He says, no, these two escorts, they were respectful. They served me well on the road.
To harm them, he says, would be unforgivable by heaven's law.
Oh.
It's this incredible moral stand. He demands that Zhang King save them.
Which is such a strange calculation for a man who has, let's be honest, brutally killed people before.
Right. He's being offered freedom, safety,
Right.
isn't refusing to kill these two low-level officials, kind of self-destructive.
In the world of water margin, no, not at all. This highlights a core part of the hero's code. It's almost a paradox.
Oh, so?
Wusong is famous for killing villains, corrupt officials, people who prey on the weak. But he draws this bright, unmoving line at harming anyone innocent or even just respectful.
So even though they're part of the system that arrested him?
It doesn't matter. The moment they showed him personal diligence, they came under his protection. His personal code is actually stricter in this moment than the criminal code of the outlaws.
Wow. So the escorts, who are, almost turned into dinner, they get the antidote.
They do. And the most incredible part is they wake up with no memory of it. They're completely oblivious.
They have no idea what just happened.
None. They think they just drank some incredibly strong wine. They don't suspect a thing.
That's insane.
It gets better. They actually vow to remember the place so they can come back and buy the wine again. It's this moment of really dark humor, but it also shows you just how competent Zhang King and Sun Erniang are at their trade.
You almost have to feel sorry for these two escorts. They nearly die a horrific death, and their big takeaway is a 5-star review for the poison.
Exactly. But this whole incident leads to this 3-day stay where they all bond, and it must have been terrifying for the escorts.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Because Wusong and Zhang King are just casually talking about the great heroes of the Jiangsu.
And by heroes, they mean murder, arson, that kind of stuff. Wusong even name drops the most famous outlaw of all, Song Jiang, Timely Rain, saying he's hiding out at Chai Jin's manor.
The escorts must be having a panic attack under the table. They're sitting here with these high-level fugitives.
But Wusong actually reassures them. He says, we never hurt people who do good. He tells them to just relax and drink. It's so surreal.
This forced team-building exercise between outlaws and guards.
And the departure really solidifies it. Wusong makes Zhang King his sworn brother. And then you see the economics of honor play out.
Right. Zhang King gives Wusong over 10 ounces of silver and a couple ounces to the escorts for being so diligent.
And this is the key moment. Wusong immediately turns around and gives all 10 ounces of his silver to the two escorts.
Why? What's the signal there?
He's reinforcing his goodwill, but more importantly, he's refusing to be in financial debt to the outlaws. He hasn't earned that brotherhood yet. He takes his water collar, his documents, and heads off to the city alone.
So he arrives in Mengzu, having proven his character to the outlaws, and at the same time, having paid off the state's minor officials with this extreme generosity.
He's upheld his personal code, but now the second, and maybe bigger, test begins, facing the state's corruption without his fists.
He gets to the city, hands in his papers, and is sent to the penal colony. It's called Anpingzai.
Which, ironically, means peaceful fortress. He's put in the single prisoner quarters, the bachelor room.
And the threat isn't from the guards, not at first. It's from the other inmates.
That's a critical detail. The prisoners, they know the system. They immediately give Wusong these unsolicited warnings.
They tell him he needs to immediately take out some silver, they call it human feelings, and give it to the warden, the Chaibu.
Right, to lessen the severity of the mandatory beating that's coming, the killing stick.
They even appeal to this idea of criminal solidarity, saying, the rabbit dies, the fox grieves. Things grieve over their own kind.
They're telling him, look, you have to pay. The law says you get 100 blows, and if you don't pay, they will be brutal.
So this bribe, it's not just greed, it's standard operating procedure.
It's the system. It's how the whole corrupt bureaucracy functions. You pay the bribe, the official uses a soft favor stick and maybe stops at 20 blows. You don't pay.
You get the full 100 with the worst possible sticks. This is the big conflict, right? The institutional expectation versus Wusong's pride.
And then the Chai Boosh shows up. He's already demanding his cut, even mocking Wusong.
Yeah.
Oh, the famous tiger fighter, you should know better.
He tells him his reputation means nothing here. A cat won't even eat you here.
So why doesn't Wusong just pay? I mean, it's a small price to pay to avoid being beaten to death.
Because for him, it's not about the silver. It's about submitting to the rot, to the corruption.
So what does he do?
His reply is just epic. He says if the official wants silver, he won't get a single penny. All he'll get's a pair of fists.
Wow.
He says he's keeping his silver for buying wine, not for bribes.
The official must have been furious.
Oh, completely. He reports this defiance to the guard commandant, and they get Wusong ready for the killing stick.
The stage is set. He's about to be publicly punished, and this is where he makes this incredible, almost suicidal display of honor.
He literally dictates the terms of his own beating. He tells him, don't use those soft saver sticks. I want the hard ones, the toxic ones you use on people who don't pay.
He's basically daring them.
And then he issues a challenge. He says, if I try to dodge a blow, I am no hero. If I cry out, I am no man.
He's daring them to kill him in public. He's using his reputation to amplify the spectacle, to show his moral superiority. The whole crowd, guards and inmates, they just laugh. They think he's gone mad.
But just as they're about to start, there's an intervention. A very quiet one.
This younger man, about 25, tall, well-dressed in a blue gauze gown.
Yeah, a sign of some official status. And he steps up and whispers something right into the commandant's ear.
And the entire system just stalks, dead in its tracks. The momentum for the 100 blows, it's just gone.
The official, who is ready to beat him to a pulp, suddenly tries to give Wusong an out. He asks him, were you sick on the road?
He's feeding him an official alibi, a reason to postpone the beating.
But Wusong, being Wusong, refuses the lie. He insists he's perfectly healthy and ready to go.
He even argues against it, saying that a postponed beating, a hooked debt stick, is like a debt that hooks the intestines. He knows it'll just cause more trouble later. He wants to clear the slate now.
But the commandant is clearly not in charge anymore. He ignores Wusong's refusal, declares that he must be raving from a fever, and sends him back to his room.
So it's mercy. But it's completely unearned and dangerously unexplained. Wusong's defiance should have gotten him killed, but a single whisper just overrode imperial law.
And according to the other inmates, this isn't a reprieve, it's a death sentence, just a delayed one.
That's right. They give him the final, most terrifying warning. They tell him the postponed stick means they're just going to kill him secretly that night.
Aye, secretly.
Because the corruption is so deep, they have to maintain the public illusion of following the law, the 100 blows, while enforcing the real law, the bribe, through covert murder.
And the details the inmates give him about how they do it are just horrific. They tell him about two specific methods. The first is basin hanging.
Yeah, pendio. It's designed to be quick and leave almost no trace. They feed the victim dry rice and salty fish to make them incredibly thirsty.
Then they tie him up, roll him in a dry mat, seal his orifices, and hang him upside down.
And the combination of the thirst, the position, the confinement, it kills you in about an hour.
And the second one is the dirt cloth bag.
Tibo will die even simpler. They just tie you up and place a heavy sack of sand on your body until you suffocate. Again, very quick.
So Wusong is told to prepare for one of these two fates, tonight.
But then something completely jarring happens. A total shift. A delivery arrives at his cell.
It's wine, meat, noodles, soup. A snack.
Wusong is confused, but he's also pragmatic. He figures if he's going to die, he might as well be a full ghost.
So he eats all of it.
Then comes dinner. More wine, fried meat, fish soup, a huge bowl of rice.
And again, he eats everything.
And then comes the third delivery, which is it's pure luxury, unheard of for a prisoner.
Two men bring him a hot bath. A full tub, hot water. They follow it with a silk towel, a fine rattan sleeping mat, a gauze curtain, a cool pillow.
The state has gone from demanding a bribe to planning a secret assassination to providing a luxury spa day, all in the span of a couple of hours. It's a complete pivot. Woo-song has no idea what it means, but he's not stupid. He locks the door, makes sure he's ready for a fight, and then lies down and sleeps through the night without incident.
This hospitality, because it starts the second he gets there.
Yeah.
And it is so much more than just, basic comfort.
Oh, it's way beyond basic. It's the sheer level of detail, the attention they pay to restoring his dignity.
Which is the exact opposite of what a prison is supposed to do. For Woo-song, this isn't luck. It's a signal.
A trap. The moment he walks in, he suspects it's a trap.
The contrast is it's astonishing. I mean, between his experience and what was really going on in the colony, the sources detail how on the very first morning, an attendant brings him hot water for washing.
Which is already unusual.
Oh, very. And then he gets mouthwash for gargling.
Yeah.
These are not amenities for the general population. This is, the service you'd give a respected official.
And it gets even more specific, almost personal. They bring in a professional barber Abitu Daizao, and his only job is to braid Woo-song's hair and put him in a clean, formal cap. I mean, that's a symbolic act, right? They're elevating his status immediately from prisoner to gentleman.
Absolutely. The message is crystal clear, both to him and to everyone else there. This man is off limits. He's an investment.
And that investment really shows up on the catering bill. I mean, this is where you see just how deep the commitment is. For breakfast, no gruel. He gets a big bowl of rice, quality meat soup, tea.
Good stuff.
Later that same day, there's a platter with 4 different kinds of fruit, steamed rolls, and get this, a whole cooked chicken already torn apart for him. And good wine.
And this isn't a one-time welcome meal. This goes on for days.
Yeah, this is the new normal for him.
It's an expense that a prison just couldn't sustain.
Yeah.
Which tells you the money is coming from somewhere else, from someone who has influence with the commandant.
And to really understand how disturbing all this luxury is, we need to look just outside his door. What was happening to the regular prisoners, the Kutu?
They were living the absolute opposite of that. Woo-song sees them being forced into this grueling hard labor. They're carrying heavy water buckets, chopping wood, all this, general maintenance.
In the heat.
In the brutal heat of the 5th or 6th month, the height of summer.
And there's that moment when Woo-song asks them about their conditions, and their answer is just, it's chilling. It really shows you how cruel the whole system is.
It does. They tell him the prisoner operates in layers of misery. They actually consider their outdoor slave labor like heaven, compared to the guys locked in the deepest dungeons, the Dalao Li.
The ones in chains.
The ones in heavy iron chains, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their suffering is so extreme, the text says they can neither seek life nor seek death. So while Woo-song is sipping wine, a guy a couple hundred yards away is literally praying for death.
It's incredible. But what's really remarkable is that Woo-song never, ever lets his guard down. He even notes that the food was booming unclear, right, of unknown origin. He's restless.
The luxury itself is a source of stress.
Exactly. Because he understands, in that world, extreme kindness isn't charity, it's debt. He's just waiting for the bill.
Absolutely. The people behind this, they were trying to get him recovered, rested, and, emotionally indebted before they even made their move. The goal was to lock in his commitment before he even knew what the job was.
But he understood the game too well to just sit around and wait.
He did.
And that silence, that waiting, it just becomes too much for him. Which brings us to how he finally forces their hand. This is the next phase. The whisper and the savior.
Right. So Woo-song realizes he has to break this whole charade. He calls in the attendant, the commandant's personal assistant, and he presses him. He refuses to play the game anymore.
And he asks that terrifying question, the one every prisoner who gets unexpected kindness must ask. He says something like, am I being fattened up just to be executed later?
It's such a great line. Is all this just preparation for my own death? It just perfectly captures that fear of being used, of being leveraged.
The attendant tries to stall, of course. Says the benefactor, the younger commandant, wanted Woo-song to have 3 to 6 months of rest first.
Which is an insane commitment. They were ready to fund this for half a year just to get him at peak strength.
But Woo-song just cuts through all that. He demands to know who this person is. And he uses these incredibly specific details from when he first arrived. He says, was it the man in the dark gauze shirt next to the commandant with the white headscarf around his hand?
The level of detail there, it just shows you how sharp he is. Even when he's being marched into a penal colony, facing a flogging, he's observing, he's assessing, and the attendant confirms it. It's the commandant's son.
And then, as soon as he has the identification, Woo-song makes this incredible deduction. What does he realize about this guy that just changes the entire dynamic?
He figures out, correctly, that this guy, Xian, wasn't just paying for the food. He must have been the one who saved him from the mandatory flogging on arrival, the death-creating stick.
The Shawwei Bang.
Exactly. This beating was a ritual. It was meant to break a new prisoner's spirit.
So Xian didn't just give him a nice room. He saved him from serious injury, maybe even death, on day one. That's not a catering bill. That's a life debt.
Precisely. And this is when we learn his name. Xian, the younger commandant. He's known in Mengzu for his own martial arts skill. His nickname is the Golden-Eyed Leopard.
So this tells Wu Song his benefactor isn't some bureaucrat. He's an other fighter, someone who gets it.
Yes, someone who understands and values his reputation.
But the games still aren't over. Wu Song just declares, I'm not eating another bite until he tells me what this is all about. He calls the whole secretive thing childish.
She's basically saying, stop treating me like an asset. Start treating me like a professional you're hiring for a dangerous job. He demands that respect.
So Xian finally shows up. He bows, he's very polite, and he admits he needs a favor, Shangyang. But he still insists Wu Song needs more time to recover his strength, his Qili.
And this is the critical moment. Because by suggesting Wu Song is weak, Xian unintentionally insults his honor, his entire identity as a warrior. And Wu Song just cannot let that stand.
And so he unleashes the tiger anecdote. He uses his own legend to just completely reestablish who's in charge.
It's brilliant. He recounts the famous story of him killing the tiger on Jingyang Ridge. But he adds a key detail. He says he just had malaria for 3 months.
Right.
So even though he was sick and completely drunk, he still killed the tiger with just 3 punches and 2 kicks.
The message is so clear. He's saying, my base level of power is so high that things like fatigue or illness don't even matter. If I can kill a tiger while I'm sick and drunk, I'm ready for whatever you've got.
But Xian is still hesitant. He says they should wait until he's perfectly recovered. You can tell the job is incredibly high risk, and he wants a 100% guarantee.
But for Wu Song, this is still about doubt. He needs to give him undeniable physical proof right now. And this, of course, leaves us to the legendary stone test.
Yes. So they go outside to the Hall of the Heavenly King, and near the Spirit Furnace, there's this huge architectural piece, a blue stone pillar base, a king shit done. This isn't just a rock. It's a foundation stone.
And how heavy are we talking here?
Well, Xian estimates it's about 400 or 500 caddies. So for you listening, that's around 500 pounds, maybe 225 kilograms. This is something that would take several men just to move.
Okay, so Wu Song strips to the waist and the performance begins. And this isn't just about strength, it's about control.
It's broken into 3 just breathtaking stages in the sources. First, he lifts it. Then he throws down so hard it sinks a foot deep into the ground. That's just pure, raw power.
The people watching must have been terrified.
They were stunned. But it's not over. Second, he pulls it back out, tosses it 10 feet into the air.
He throws a 500-pound stone 10 feet in the air.
And then the third part, the part that proves he's almost supernatural, is the catch. He catches it gently and places it right back where it was.
And the sources say his physical state after was just unreal. His face was not red, his heart was not pounding, and he wasn't out of breath. No effort at all.
It's that effortless control. He's transcended what they thought was humanly possible. The prisoners in Xi'an, they're terrified. They don't call him a strong man. They call him a true god.
And just like that, the hesitation is gone.
Completely gone. Xi'an immediately drops all the talk about recovery. He knows he's just secured a force of nature. He takes Wu Song to his private home and says, "You are no ordinary man. The game is officially over."
For Xie, it's confirmation that his huge, risky investment is about to pay off. The stone was the test, and Delusion passed with flying colors.
So the question hanging in the air is, what kind of problem requires that kind of power, that casual, brutal strength?
Xie now knows he has his weapon. He doesn't need to pamper the hero anymore. He just needs to aim him.